Hey y'all, Kiss Off, White Light, Benjamin, Bruce, Stansel, Daniel. It's good to see all y'all. How's everybody doing? Crazy times we're in. So because of that, and because of some requests I've had, I'm going to open with a prayer. No, I don't usually do that, but it's just, I feel it's needed. So if y'all please join me in prayer. I have to work up too. I don't like doing this publicly, but Lord, you know it. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Thank you for bringing us together, this community, like a family, that we all need each other during this time. Father, I ask that you open our minds and hearts to do as you wish by your word. Keep us open to any possibilities. We're told to use discernment during these times, and it's getting tough to discern. And we just ask that you present us with truth and knowledge. Have special prayers for the Bushcraft family. Please be with them at this time. Let their son be healed. Let the doctors figure out what's going on with him, get him home, and please get the family peace and be with them as they go through this healing process at home. We know it's going to be long and difficult, and that their son can find the courage to walk again, because that's where he feels free, walking around, and he should be allowed to do that. Just keep him protected, Lord. Father, I also ask you to be with Echo's great-granddaughter, newborn, had to have surgery. I haven't heard any updates, but just let her be healthy and happy baby for those new parents, and give Echo some peace during this time. And also lift up Tiger, who's a friend of Lisa's that is in ICU. Lord, whatever's going on, let him be healed, or let your will be done. Sorry about that. Lord, we just ask you to just be with us during these times. We know it's going to get tough. We know there's a lot of different ideas and views. Let us be open-hearted to those also, and have compassion and understanding of each other, that different people see different things, and we need to just be kind to each other. In Jesus' name I ask this. Amen. And definitely for anyone else who needs prayer. Okay, so who else is coming in? Anne, good to see you. Pamela, Meat Puppet, Cheryl, Al Bundy, Chris. It's good to see all of y'all here tonight. So, I don't know if y'all watched Indy's conversation piece Friday night. I may have overstepped my bounds, but I am just at that point. Oh, absolutely, Cheryl. Ronnie York. Lord, please be with him. Give him peace and comfort during this time. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Cheryl. I know I've left off a lot of people. Anyway, we're just days from an election that I don't see how it's going to go good either way. And that's just my opinion. I'm just telling y'all what I see. I see a lot of issues no matter how it goes. And I just pray that all of y'all are prepared for anything and everything. There is so much coming out. I have been extremely busy today, and I did catch one small video on hawks today, and it was, oh my goodness, it just flew out of my head. Nothing new there. Oh my gosh, what was it? It was something, he was saying something about the Mandela effect. Hilarious too, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Well, anyway, I'll go where I was going. So when I get a break and can go sit outside, smoke a cigarette, whatever, I play solitaire. And in this game, these quotes keep coming up. And let me see if I can find the one. No, that's Winston Churchill. Helen Keller. Here's one. It always seems impossible until it is done. And it's by Nelson Mandela. And so curiosity got the best of me as usual. So I looked up Nelson Mandela, and let me see. Okay, that's not it. That's about something else. Property. Property. No. No. My goodness. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. That's true. What? Thank you. Oh, this is about the first human case of triple E since 2015. I'm sure y'all been hearing that. This is one of Nelson Mandela's quotes. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. I said that right. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. And it's by John F. Kennedy. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Maya Angelo. There are no extraordinary men, just extraordinary circumstances that ordinary men are forced to deal with. And that's William Posse. I like that one. So I think these, yes. So that, what did Nelson Mandela say about leadership? Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dreamt of. And then Nelson Mandela spoke at a United Nations luncheon, October 1994. Mandela Effect popularized phenomenon in which a group of people collectively misremember facts, events, or other details in a consistent manner. Can't even read tonight. And so there was one, the reason I was looking that up is because, okay, I don't know if y'all have seen it yet, but I put up a notification for a live on Friday, celebration of life for Shane Phelps. And I've been going through videos and clips, and boy, there's a lot of people who are gone now, or for whatever reason, and they are missed. And so for me, that's a time of just remembering and appreciating the time that we did have with them. So one of the things that was said led me to this. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. And that was by Nelson Mandela. But the related authors were Winston Churchill, APJ Abdul Kalam. I know I'm going to mess up some of these names. Napoleon Bonaparte, Marcus Tullius Cicero, Benjamin Disraeli, Lucius Seneca, Edmund Burke, and Fidel Castro. What do all these people have in common? I don't know. And then that led me to I don't know if that took me to it or if I heard somebody mention it, but it's the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act. And I'm probably saying that totally all wrong. And so I looked up that act. Forbids military involvement with law enforcement. Needs congressional approval. So I looked more into that. And the reason for all of this is because we mentioned martial law and some other stuff on indies. And so let me find that. Okay, martial law is the replacement of civilian government by military rule and the suspension. Yes, that's it. Wildlife, thank you. Glad you know how to spell it. Suspension of civilian legal processes for military powers. Martial law can continue for a specified amount of time or indefinitely, and standard civil liberties may be suspended for as long as martial law continues. That's concerning. What else did I have? Okay. This what Life said, the Posse Comitatus Act is a United States federal law signed on June 18, 1878 by President Rutherford B. Hayes that limits the powers of the federal government in the use of federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. The act originally applied only to the United States Army, but a subsequent amendment in 1956 expanded its scope to the United States Air Force. The provisions for Posse Comitatus were repealed by the Criminal Law Act in 1967. The second subsection provided for the sheriff to take the power of the county if he faced resistance while executing a writ, and provided for the arrest of resistors. This subsection is still in force. Yep, you got it, Wildlife. Go ahead and drop the link if anyone wants to come up. And my mouse isn't working. It's working, it's just not going where I want it to. There we go. So, what's the solution? And I think that that's where we're all trying to find out. What does this mean? What are the rights of the people versus what can be forced on us? And what are the solutions? And I know the whole, we gotta have love conquers all, to an extent. Gigi, where are you? Sorry, Anne. Am I being too serious? That's because these are serious times. And yes, trust in God and Christ. But I think that we have a part to play in that also. I don't think we can just sit back and wait and trust that. I mean, I know His will be done, no matter what. Oh, really, Al? Okay. Thank you. Oh, I just worry for all of y'all. I worry for everybody. I'm the worrier. Gigi is doing a game show. Well, I didn't see it. I even went to her channel to see if she was going live tonight. Well, I didn't know that. Hey, Sharon, good to see you. That's true, Sharon. Not talking about these things got us here in the first place. Okay, Wildline. You don't have to put your serious face on. It's just, it. I guess because it's hit so close to home. The the abductions, the abduction attempts. I won't say that I have heard of any abductions in my area, but I have seen and heard the the lead up to that. And I I feel horrible for you people who can't carry, just who cannot carry protection with you. But there's always some sort of protection. The wasp spray, the y'all have heard it all. I know you have. Question, what do you think's gonna happen? Now mind you said God got this. His will be done. So why concern yourself with his plan? Kiss off, it's because it's the I'm 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 sorry. I'm a doer. It's like I can't just sit here and he knows that. I mean, um, if I wasn't, I wouldn't even have the house that I'm in. E- Even though I knew that God was in on that, that as easily as everything fell into place, I still had to go out and find the property that was affordable for me. I still had to go out and find the home that I wanted to put on it because I wanted to build, but I just didn't have enough time to do that. And so that's what I'm talking about is like, even though he's with us and he is guiding us, it's still, we have to do the work. We have to take the steps that are needed to get it done. It doesn't just happen. Goodness, I would have a handyman just fall in my lap right now to get all this work done in my house if that's the way it worked. And I just, that's not happening. I do have a window guy from Home Depot that's coming tomorrow, and because they do installation, and I was going to buy my window there anyway, and they offered to send someone out and give me an estimate. So, yes, come and give me an estimate. At least I'll get my kitchen window done. And I was looking at sheets of street rock, sheet rock, and Home Depot. God, y'all, I could stay in Home Depot all day long. And okay, honey, sorry about that. Um, but sheetrock is like $13 a sheet, so um, just gonna find a pickup and go and pick it up and get that started. It's um, the main thing is gonna be the removal and disposal of it because I don't think you can just put sheetrock in your garbage barrel. So I'll have to figure all that out. But yeah, so these things I have to figure out. It didn't just happen. I'm not yelling because am I yelling? Am I talking too loud? I can back up. Sorry about that. I'll check that out in. I think I am actually subbed to them. Um, I don't think I've seen a live, but there you go. Hilarious too. That's true. So, um, where was I? I might have got sidetracked. Little one was telling me Aunt's gonna go spend the night somewhere. Hey, Wildlife,
Hello,
how are you doing?
can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm doing well.
are y'all getting cooler weather yet?
No, not really. Well, I guess it could be cooler. It got up to 95 today.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
it was they say we got up to 96 yesterday, 96 or 97 yesterday.
that's the way it was here too. Um,
Yeah, we're kind of back to average, I guess. Mid to low 90s and then mid to low 70s at night.
so we flipped because now we're getting into the 80s and I'm all excited. Except for Sunday, I can see it goes back up to 92.
Yeah,
Yay.
don't get too excited. Don't start pulling out those sweaters just yet.
Oh no, that's not till like January.
Yeah, next year. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, that term Posse Comitatus, I think it was established like during and after the Civil War, like during the Reconstruction times.
Yes.
Because when it was created as a bill or passed, that was what 1878. So you figure that's post Civil War era, Reconstruction era. So there was a lot of chaos, of course, destruction, people coming in trying to take other people's lands, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Um, so I think they kind of worded it in a way which it sounded good because posse comitatus basically what it translates to is the power of the county or the power of the people. Uh, that's what it kind of translates to, and I think it's kind of those wordages that they use to sound good, um, but it could be used for something nefarious
Yes.
because it's basically it's a congressional thing. Congress said that the federal government could not interfere with local matters as far as a being a military or police like presence
Hmm.
on domestic soil. But there's been instances, you know, without pulling up specific time and dates, there's been instances where that has happened. Um, even the Coast Guard has been called to defend at a couple different times. Um, Different instances, National Guard, stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, but it's one of those things I think that probably would sound good even in the name, even stuff like the Patriot Act. You're like, oh yeah, that sounds good, but till you start reading a lot of that stuff and then see where we're at now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That it's
and
actually
and who's to
twisted.
say what Congress they say? Yeah, okay, let's institute it. We figure that this this particular issue or this particular movement is strong enough where we need to implement this. Who's to say the checks and balances on who they say could be a threat, or is just somebody just, you know, giving an opinion on something?
Right. Well, and that's Friday night. It was, um, there was a lot of discussion about the election and the candidates. And um, so, guess I was just, it was just a, well, what if, because actually Neil brought up, um, what year was that? 1930 something, Germany, and how that all happened and came about. And so I was like, okay, since you brought that up, the people were all for him. They were putting the hands up and honoring him, and they were all in. And then look what he did when he got in. And so it's just, it, I'm just saying that I personally cannot put that much confidence and faith into someone to believe that things are going to get better just because they are our leader or president or whatever. And, um, you know, around here, I'm seeing our gas prices drop. Um, our mayor got the property taxes to drop. The state got the um, um, or I don't know who it was actually, got the interest rates to drop. So I'm seeing these things happening. Is it just because it's just before an election? I don't know. Is it because in, I've seen things where this stock market thing is a big um, setup for a complete crash that's going to be worse than the depression. So it's like all this information is coming at us and it's all saying something different, but it's kind of all connected. So, and that's why I felt the need to pray, because it's like the discernment is getting really hard to discern what what's good, what's bad, what's it's just crazy times. Hey, Indy.
Yeah, I don't. I understand perfectly what you're saying. I've always been, even as a kid, I was always why, and everybody's like, "Why are you always asking why?" I'm asking why about everything. I just wanted to know,
Yes.
and it didn't necessarily have to be politics or adult type things, but why is this? Why, But dang, I forgot what I was fixing to say.
But it's good to ask questions because
But
that's how
yeah,
we learn.
exactly. We'd have never known anything that we know now if we didn't ask that question at that particular time or moment. But
Yes.
I know the God or the man upstairs. He definitely has a plan. Whatever that may be. It's I couldn't even begin to fathom anything that he's got in the predetermination. But when it comes to man in this world, I'll question anything. You know,
Yeah.
as far as a person.
Because we've seen how there can be so much evil out there, corruption, just power hungry people.
But I do understand that these type of things, it didn't just happen overnight. These type of things have been happening for decades, centuries, millennia. however
Yes.
millennia there are, whatever history of time that they want to give us so we can conceive. I think it's the eternal battle of good and evil. Um, it just comes in a different face or maybe a different form, a new law, a new restriction, a
Yes.
higher bill. Um, we all see it. Everything at the store, no matter what you're buying, most things are higher
Yeah.
than they once were. It don't matter if it's 4 years ago or 10 years ago.
Hey, Annie, Jack. Oh, so yeah, I have a video I want to share with y'all because this is it's nationwide. So it's not very long. It's pretty short. So
All right.
let me click on it so it goes right to it. Oh, I lied. It's like an hour, but I'll just show you the first clip because it kind of says it all in that. Um, it was sent to me as a clip, but I guess I clicked on the whole thing.
Are you promoting fake news?
Do what?
I'm just messing with you.
And you never know, maybe, but um, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. Okay, here we go.
You're uncovering something pretty big. You're a whistleblower.
Yeah, this whole thing is a scam. The denominator of the median household income, you have a nice smoothing line because that's where people are making money. What they have in fact done by inverting the amortization schedule to an inverted bond schedule where they're never paying it off, they have equity stripped mom and pop. And that's why this is going to blow to shreds. I mean, mathematically, it's etched in stone already. It's a question of when. So your question was when? Well, nobody knows what the tipping point is because they'll use the tipping point as an excuse to be able to pull the trigger. What I'm trying to say is, listen, this is a mess. It's quantifiable. It is fixable, although there will be pain. But it is better that we do it and fix it than the market jumps ahead of us. Because once the bond world wakes up and sees this, they're going to exit for the doors and this thing will come crashing down. And I mean a greater depression. That's what's going to happen.
And I agree. I think they are testing the market by what they're doing. They're stress testing the finances of what they can, what exactly can they take from homeowners or consumers. They're stress testing, but now we're talking about homeowners, so we'll stay with that. We know that over 1 million homeowners have had a loan modification of one type or another. We know that Fannie Mae, in front of what I think is the next major disaster, economic disaster, a housing crash that I believe will be way worse than 2008. A lot of people disagree with me, but what Fannie has already done, getting in front of, I mean, the government was never the Fed never buying mortgage-backed securities prior to 2012. They suppressed interest rates, allowing these asset prices to rise astronomically. But what's happened is this time, now they're already selling off tens of thousands of non-performing loans and reperforming loans to Wall Street investors, funds. But what I'm getting at here is what we're talking about. You said 143 million homeowners in the U.S., thereabouts, 144, whatever. We know 1 million of those homeowners since the pandemic boom. I call it the pandemic boom, but since 2020, 1 million homeowners have taken advantage of some type of loan modification, which meant they avoided foreclosure. And a lot of these actually had 30% of their mortgages put as a second loan, a second mortgage, interest-free. A third of their a lot of these defaulting homeowners, a third of their mortgage balance was extracted out of their payment. They were cast into a second mortgage, interest-free, on the back end of the note, the end of 30 years. Some of them were even extended to 40 years, reducing their payment, all the while still being able to continue to charge the property taxes and get those property taxes for the municipalities. I want to talk about this chief appraiser, Don Spencer.
I'll put the link for the whole video so that y'all can watch it if you want to. You put that Aniak Jack, the biggest storm of the year is coming. Where did I hear that? I'll have to look at that. Go back and grab that later.
It was talking about, money in the housing market and all this debt and stuff. But even on the money, on our money, it says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So
Yes.
the word in itself lets you know it. Of course, common sense tells you it has no value, really. It's just we give it value. But even on the front, it tells you it's not for any gains. That's just to exchange for a debt.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's concerning to me because,
It's like a house of cards, it looks cool for a little while, but eventually you put one too many cards on there, it just tumbles down.
yeah, but it kind of sounded like they can just snatch it up. Did you get that out of it?
It
No.
could be. As I wonder, because I wonder about it myself, like being in my area that I'm in, it's a pretty big city, It's the
Mm-hmm.
second biggest city in Georgia. It's city and country. It's the best of both worlds, but I'm seeing all these houses and subdivisions and townhomes and stuff being built. And I understand that there's a big population and we do have a military base, so there's a lot of people coming and going. But I'm thinking, where is all this money coming from?
Yeah.
They're just building this stuff left and right.
Uh-oh. We lost you out live. Darn it. But that's what I'm seeing too. But I see a lot of places for sale, and I see new ones going up, but then the new ones going up, they're fixing to tear down they're going to put in what do you call it? Roundabout. It's not a roundabout. It looks like a cloverleaf highway, something. And that's like 12 miles away, but still or more, about 15 miles away. But still, I'm seeing it. What would happen? They cut your red wire? No, that's not good. Do you need the link again? Or are you really out for the count? There it is. And then I took my daughter driving, or no, I was with my granddaughter. I was with one of the girls. And we were driving down this one street, and I said, "What's happening here?" And they said, "Oh, they're building a new middle school." And I said, "What?" We don't need a new school of any grade. Are you with us?
Yeah, I think they cut my red wire. I don't know. Guess they didn't like what I was putting down.
Yeah, I've been seeing that happening a lot.
But It's the Georgia lag. That's like one county over from me. There's this church. I forget exactly when it's built, but it's a historic church. It's like late 1800s at least. And they're talking about tearing it down to build a some fast food joint.
Oh no.
And I'm thinking, are we really, whether you go to church or not, it's a historic landmark at that point.
And
You
that's
know
what
what
I
I mean?
was gonna say. If the people could get it as an historical landmark, they can't tear it down.
Uh, yeah, they're fighting some type of legal battle now with that. But I heard
Good.
about that the other day. And I said, man,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
I
care what
know.
denomination it is. I mean, it's been there for longer than any of us have been alive that could be here to argue about it.
Yes. That's our VFW that um, was in town forever. It had been there, and um, that's where a lot of us would gather, play dominoes or whatever. And um, they just, I don't know how they do that, but they just decided to close it, and it
Really,
was down. I'm sorry.
it's still closed down.
Oh yeah, they tore it down.
Oh
It's
wow, how long it had been there?
oh gosh.
Decades.
Yes, I know, over 40 years. It was old when I moved here, but um, still, it was. We would have events in that building because the front part of it was kind of like a bar type setting. It's not a bar, but I don't know. That's where they had some tables and a counter, and people kept beer back there. So then the back part of it was a huge open room, like a dining room, and then it had a kitchen on the other end of that, a huge kitchen. And so we had a lot of things there, weddings and all kinds of events, and tore it down.
Wow. Yeah, I think once you start losing stuff like your VFWs or your what's the other ones? The American Legions.
Yes.
I think once you start losing those in small towns, yeah, that's like a gathering spot, even for people that didn't serve, they'll go in there. Like you said, they'll have karaoke, darts, bingo, something. That used to be like the little happening spots for a lot of little places.
Yeah.
Music. Somebody will be in there playing live music, you can request a song.
Yep. Annie, I don't know if I can play that, if that's what it's about. Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. We got a we got a couple of both um in the area. There's a bunch of them really, kind of scattered out. And there's some in places that you wouldn't even know they're there unless you knew they were there.
yeah. Yeah. That's when we stayed in Corsicana, and um, like we got bored the next night. We were just like, okay, tired of watching westerns on the TV because we couldn't find anything good on the TV. And I was like, can we go somewhere? It's nighttime. Let's go see what it looks like at night. And then we were searching for some place to go and just see people. And we
Where was
found
this at?
in Corsicana.
Okay.
Um, my daughter and I took that trip trying to get to Chuck's, and car trouble, and it just didn't happen. And, so we made it there, but somehow we found this little hole in the wall place and went in there, and um, somebody was talking about pronouns and all that, um, how you would manage that without accepting it, and that's when we went there. The bartender, I don't know if it was a male or a female, and so it was just bartender. Can we have a refill on this, or but
It's weird you say
um,
that because I was literally somewhere the other day and I had that interaction and I didn't really
mhm.
know. I didn't know. So I couldn't say ma'am or sir. So, it was,
Yes, and that's
they,
the thing.
they
We
probably didn't
use
think it was awkward, but me, I was just like, you know,
yes, well, because we use manners, and that's customary here. Is yes, ma'am, or yes, sir.
Lord forbid I say ma'am. And then they say,
Right?
oh, step outside. I'll show you a ma'am. And I'm like, okay, here we
Yeah,
go. It's
and
going down at the Cracker Barrel.
yes. So what's it doing? It's taking the manners away too, because you're dang.
No, I mean, I didn't really think about it too much, but I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, hopefully they didn't think I didn't do anything to be rude. I was still polite. I just I didn't use the yes, ma'am or no, ma'am type deal because I didn't really know.
Yeah, that's sad. And we try to teach our kids that, and even the little ones. And when it gets to the point where you can't tell, we got a problem.
Maybe I was hangry. I was pretty hangry at that particular moment, but still.
I doubt that had anything to do with it. Go back to Crocodile Dundee.
I
I,
mean, it's I don't know. Just the ability to do certain things is a lot different. I mean, I don't
yes,
know. It's I don't know. I don't really know if I could think of one word to describe it. That'd be tough. That'd be like an extra credit assignment, you know? Just think of one word to sum it up.
yeah. Well, anyhow, Jack, I already got a warning, so I'm kind of leery of doing anything that YouTube might say, okay, that's it. At least until after I get the memorial done and they take away all my videos. I've been going through a lot of videos trying to find the funniest things.
Oh, shame. Well, he was a trip. It's a good one.
Yes,
Yeah.
he would come up with some doozies.
Didn't know him personally like a lot of y'all did, but I think he lived a good life, a full life. He had a lot of people around him that cared about him.
Yeah,
That's all you can hope for.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, probably should check on his family, talk to them in a while.
What's it been, a year?
Yes, the Friday will be a year.
Mm, man. Everything just seems like it flies by so much quicker in a way.
I know it.
Like a year isn't even really a year anymore with the recession. It's like 6 months. So
Yes.
feels like it's been like 6 months, but you're like, whoa, it's been a year already? Man,
Well, at your age, you wouldn't notice it, but so like, um, in the first videos when I was sitting out on the deck and doing the live streams, the mosquitoes are horrendous this year. I don't know if they are where y'all are, but
Oh, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. They're never not horrendous here.
yeah, but they're worse than usual here.
Yeah, they were pretty aggressive this year, more aggressive than normal.
Yes, and aggressive, and it's like I don't know. It just seems different. But looking at those videos from then, and that was in 21 to now, it's like, okay, kind of see that I'm aging there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
girl. Uh, and so in doing these video clips, there's going to be a lot of people. John is one of them. He's very missed. He was a good one to joke with, and boy, he could name a tune and nothing flat, and
I don't know if I remember the face, but the name kind of sounds familiar. I probably know him.
yeah.
I heard his voice or seen him probably.
He changed his name to, I think it was John's
He did a
Civic.
cooking videos.
Yes.
Oh man,
Like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he he had he had gotten cancer in his neck and
Mm.
got it, and we thought, okay, he's good, and then started losing his voice, and then they found another one, and he chose not to go through that again, and so it got him effing cancer.
Yeah, man, it's some nasty stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another video I want to share. I have been talking about castor oil, and uh, and don't take any of my advice as I'm not a doctor. It's not medical advice. It's just I keep hearing a lot of good things about it. But well, I thought I had it. Let me. Where'd it go? Ah, there it is. Um, so I'll share this little clip. It's a little short. He was very nice and we very missed. Be right back.
I applied castor oil to my eyelids, and now I likely have a lifelong condition that has ruined the quality of my life and given me loss of vision.
I can't speak as to what is going on with her eye. That is outside of my area of expertise. But anytime someone asks me, what do I think about castor oil for this, that, and the other, when it comes to putting it on the skin, you do have a risk for skin irritation, especially if you're applying it directly to the delicate skin of the eyes where the skin is really thin. You also can become allergic to something in castor oil. That's actually pretty common, although it sounds like that's not what's going on with this creator. When it comes to putting it around your eyes, I also can see, given how viscous it is, that it might impede the outflow of the tear film, especially, God forbid, if it actually got in your eye. Then I can certainly see how it could be irritating to the eye surface.
I applied castor oil to my eyelids, and now I likely have a lifelong condition that has ruined the quality of my life.
And that's what I was going to start doing, was putting it on my eyelids, because this lady doctor, she's an elderly lady, and she was saying, because what castor oil does is it pulls out the toxins in your body, and that it could actually get rid of the cataracts or any retina damage or anything like that. And just put a really thin coat before you go to bed at night, sleep with it, wash it off the next day. And
Yeah.
then I saw that and I was like, well, but the doctor was not talking like it was really bad. She wasn't sure what was going on with that creator. And it could be something else also, where she already had an issue and just messing with her eyes inflamed it. You know, who knows? It's
Yeah.
hard to tell.
We're alike in so many ways, but like the chemical breakdown is so different. You know, everybody eats different things. We consume different things. You know, I may love squash, but you eat squash, it may make you break out or something. You know, so many different X factors. Um, but I think, and even natural remedies, you know, you always want to do a little research before you use it, even if it's natural. Do a little test run, you know, put a little dab kind of near your eye and see what happens. You know, leave that on there for maybe 24 hours and see what happens. See if you have a reaction. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, she probably just saw it and just probably went full on all over the eye and just, yeah, she could have had a pre-existing condition.
Yes. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Yeah. We never know. And, but that's the thing is, hey, Lauren, good to see you. I like, I ate seafood all my life. And then all of a sudden started breaking out with a rash, and the reaction just kept getting worse until it was okay, no more seafood. And that was actually in the hospital when I had my last child. The doctor looked at me and he said, that's it. No chemical iodine, no shellfish, no anything. He said, you have too bad of a reaction to it. And um, it's been a lot of things like that: avocados, carrots. It's all the good stuff, you know.
Wow, you can't eat avocados or carrots.
No,
Wow,
there's a lot.
I could
There's
eat my weight in avocados. Good ones.
I love them, and but it's like each year it's something else. And but then I also know that something in your body changes every 7 years. And so sometimes things that you are allergic to, if it wasn't a real bad allergy, you can become unallergic to it. But then sometimes it'll just get worse. So that's with
Could
anything.
could be.
And that's what they suggest with the castor oil or anything that you're going to put on your skin, is to just put a little spot on the inside of your wrist. I guess because that's a thin
Yeah,
spot.
the
That's,
inside of your wrist. Yeah,
yeah. And see if you have a reaction to it. Leave it on there however long you're going to.
I say at least 24 hours.
I
After
think so.
24 hours, you should see if anything's going to react immediately or not, as far
Yes.
as an irritation.
Yeah. And I'm real leery about stuff with my eyes too, because even when, um, back when I lost my eyesight and they were trying all these eye drops, a lot of them I had a reaction to. And so, um, for whatever reason, that's where the vitamin A worked. But I just opened a new bottle of vitamin A and took it, and it's got the dye in it that I can't have. And so I've had a headache all day just from taking that vitamin A.
That's a big thing in itself. Is the dyes, the artificial. Well, any of that stuff's artificial, but the food colorings and the dyes they use,
Yes.
that stuff alone. I mean, it's yeah. And why I don't even understand why you would need to put a dye in a vitamin anyway. If somebody's taking a vitamin, I'm pretty sure they don't care what color it is. You know what I mean? There's no
Yeah.
reason, unless it's a Flintstone vitamin, and even then, you could use a natural something. But of course, they won't do that.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. Well, Young's food is in the bedroom, and she in the room, is in the, and Shotzi by Young's food, and I close her in and can't move it in the perfect time, and I open the door, Shotzi out.
Okay, thank you. And you can leave my door open, sweetie. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's good.
She's a mess. She likes to help.
I know they want to make stuff look vibrant and stuff like that, and when you see stuff on the shelves, but a lot of stuff, there's no reason to put all those dyes in there. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
but a chemical at that point.
Yeah. So I ordered another one today and made sure it was white. We'll see what happens with it. But
Yeah, find you a good source, definitely.
I had a really good one for like 4 years, and I don't know why they just quit selling it. I went straight to their website, and they don't even have it on there, and they may be closing up shop or whatever. But
Shipping, availability, restrictions.
yes,
A lot
yeah,
of certain type of vitamins and supplements like that. I mean, they're definitely been coming under fire the last couple years.
that's what it was called. John's Southern Exposure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Hey, HCC, good to see you.
And even like your honeys and your natural milks and stuff, they're saying that's bad now.
Oh, I know it.
Meanwhile, the stuff that they're selling at the store ain't even honey.
Yeah. Yeah, I get mine from a local bee, I don't know what you call them.
Beekeeper?
Beekeeper. There you go.
Bee wrangler?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
stuff I wouldn't want. But
Bet it'd be fun though, seeing that whole progress. I mean, of course, if you had all the equipment, the suit and everything, but just
yeah.
to see that whole progress build, I imagine it would be real interesting. Yeah, I met a new guy a couple weekends ago at the flea market. I got some honey from him. I hadn't tried it yet. I still got plenty to go through before I get to it. But yeah, I got his card. He said he don't care anybody that buys from him. They're free to come out, contact them, come out there and see the hives, take a tour, or whatever.
Yeah. At the farmer's market, they have a little booth set up and telling all about the process and pictures. And so when I take my little granddaughter, she comes back and she's got a whole handful of stuff that they give her, little bee stickers and um, just information about it, something to color with the
Oh
bee.
yeah,
Nancy, good to see you. It's been a while.
It's good for kids to know about that type of stuff, you know.
Yes. And I want her to know it all. She helps me in the garden. She sees what I keep trying to make it work. And um, my
Well, you know,
granddaughter,
they definitely remember that type of stuff. That type of stuff sticks with them, you know.
yes, yes. And my other granddaughter, she went out of town today. And so I had the tomato cages because everything I have is in pots or containers. And the wind keeps blowing them over because the tomato bushes are like, they're going crazy. They got blooms all over them, but they're not producing anything yet. So I'm hoping with the cooler weather, it'll start them going. I think they got too hot. And
Could be.
so I asked her to pick up some stakes, like garden stakes or tent stakes, or I said they could
Oh, I
be.
thought you were talking about T-bones. No T-bones.
I got a couple of those in the freezer. I need to thaw one out. But um and they didn't have any. She went in the Walmart and she said not in the camping section, not in the garden section, nowhere did they have those stakes. And so she sent me a link for Amazon, and
Oh, that's just unacceptable.
crazy. And I said, well, if I knew where y'all put my wire, because all my craft stuff, I had shelves in my closet, and that's where I would keep it all. But we cleared out the closet because of that. And so it's all stacked in the spare bedroom. And I said, I could just make the stakes out of my crafting wire. But
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to make it make with something I got on hand or something I can get free first. Then I'll venture out inside the real world.
yeah,
It's like I was on this job one day and I asked the general contractor, I said, what y'all gonna do with all these cinder blocks right here? And he said, well, it's funny you asked me because we gotta clean up and to be honest, them cinder blocks just need to go. And I said, so I can have them? And he said, they just need to get off of here. They need to get off the site. So I loaded up a whole uh, pallet of cinder blocks worth. I said, shoot, yeah. And I'll use them for stuff like that. I've used them for all type of stuff. I mean, I don't know the price on what they would have been, but it was a whole pallet worth.
yeah, that's great.
Not the regular ones, the thick cut rough ones that they use on outside of building fronts.
Yes,
Was kind of rough, rugged.
yep. That's our local grocer. They usually paint those blue. Is that what you're talking about? The pallets, right?
Oh no, it was a whole pallet full of those cinder blocks. It was a whole pallet's worth.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Goodness. And
it
you got
was.
that for free?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just
Holy cow. I
you know.
spent $400 for a pallet of cinder block. So that's how much you got. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're worth, but it was just yeah. It had to go. I mean, everything was paid for and everything was that's how some of those commercial jobs are. You'd be surprised some of the stuff they just throw away. You know,
Gosh.
I'll collect pieces of wood, that PEX piping. I mean, I sometimes they'll throw away half a roll. And I said, "Do you know how many repair jobs you could do with that one half a roll?"
Right?
I've even thought about building and integrating some type of like drainage or watering system for like the garden. I'm definitely gonna have to incorporate it next year. If next year's summer is like the one we had this year, I'm definitely gonna have to integrate some type of dripping system.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about that today because I have a shingle roof. I don't have gutters. And but there's a in Home Depot they have this. It's like a chain that hangs down, and it
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, the water just slides down the chain.
yes,
Yeah.
and so there's this one spot that even just condensation comes off of it. And so I was thinking if I get one of those and I've got two of the 5-gallon water jugs and I have pumps that go on them too, to just start sticking them in, because there's just that one spot on my deck where it's always wet and it hasn't rained. And I'm like, I need to start collecting that, whatever it is, because it'd be just for the garden.
Oh yeah, if you can get you a couple 5-gallon buckets worth a day, yeah, that's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
that's usually what I do, but this summer we hadn't had any rain. The few days it did, it didn't take long to use up that little bit of water.
I saw that, Annie. Yeah. Um, I wish I would have been doing all that when it was raining, because we had several days of rain, good rain. I know we had over 5 inches in the like 3 or 4
Yeah.
days.
Of course, depending on everybody's location is different. But now, this time of the year is the season. If you're going to probably get like free buckets and stuff like that, it's a good time to get it. A lot of stuff's being bought and shipped. The holiday season, a lot of your bakeries, they're using up more icing buckets and stuff like that. You can
Yeah.
usually get with your local bakers, uh, local restaurants, Chinese restaurants. I've even got some from Walmart and Kroger before.
Yep.
Um, Now's the time where you can go ahead and start stocking up on those type of things for free. You know, it just costs you time to call them or go up there and see if they got them.
That's
But
right. All the restaurants have the gallon jars, or even
yeah,
the plastic ones that they
yeah,
get.
the gallon ones, the 3-gallon ones, the 5-gallon ones. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, check with them, and they're already food grade, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yes. But that's another thing I'm fixing to. Um, Everyone keeps talking about Marketplace on Facebook, so I'm gonna look. But a lot of times you can find the 5-gallon food grade barrels. And then if I could get it to where that chain will fill up those
I mean, a
barrels.
55-gallon.
Yes, the big one.
Yeah, yeah. You need a barrel, 55-gallon. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that. Because my daughter wants to do water catchment out there, and my mom does have a metal roof and the gutters. And I was told there's a kit that you can just tap into one of those gutter drains.
Oh yeah, yeah. They got an attack. Yeah, you could if you wanted to just shorten up your downspout and just have it directed strictly in the drum, the bucket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just simple. You just trim it up to whatever height you want and just put a 45 on it. Really, you don't even need that. You can use trim up and put the bottom that's already on there and aim it towards there, so you don't have to buy nothing. You just trim it up and secure it.
Yeah.
Just takes time and labor to do it. You wouldn't have to buy no extra accessories or nothing.
Yeah. Because that's what I was talking about, making one. And then he was all, don't go to all that trouble. Just get the kit.
Oh, that's me. If I can do it for free, I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
Or if worst case scenario, you buy one, they have those. They're like 2 or 3 foot long, like the ones that kind of flex. You know, you could get
Uh-huh.
one of those and you could flex it and put it however you wanted to. You know, I don't know.
That's true. But I just know at Tractor Supply, the white ones in the cage, the water collection
Yeah.
barrels, they're $400.
Oh yeah, those are the big ones. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's just too much.
It's kind of like the off white ones, and yeah, it's got the metal cage around it. Yeah, I seen a dude.
Yes.
That's really the
The
only
deal
reason
for
I
real.
still have Facebook, to be honest, is the marketplace. I messaged the guy that had some of those on sale, on there for sale, and supposed to meet up with him, and never heard back. I guess he ended up selling them. He just didn't message me back. But yeah, sometimes you can find people on there selling them
No.
for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
you one of those, you'd be set up for a while, depending on how much rain you get.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac is saying we're going to have a warm, dry winter. And until early spring, which is around February. But it's an El Nino year, so
El Nino, of course.
I think it means it could go either way. You never know.
Don't really know when they started using that term, the El Nino. It means the sun in Spanish.
Then it's the La Nina. It's the Nina one.
La Nina, oh yeah, that's the one we have to worry about. That's the one.
Yeah, that's
They
what
don't
they're.
mention La Nina that much. It's always El Nino. Yeah,
Yes, and
man.
that's what they were saying. We've had the El Nino for the past 3 years. Well, in that 3 years is when we had Snowmageddon. So if Nina is worse, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Farmer's Almanac could be wrong this year.
Yeah, I always found that interesting too, the Farmer's Almanac.
My grandmother always followed it, and
Yeah.
that's what I've always looked at. But
And what was it, a Poor Richard's Almanac? I think it might have changed its name. I think that was one at one time. That might have been Ben Franklin's version.
yeah,
But yeah, they'll tell you everything about the storms, the fishing, the moon,
hmm
certain crops.
yeah, what to plant, when to plant it.
Yeah, they still sell them. I'm surprised it's still sticking around after all the years,
Yeah,
in the digital world.
El Nino means we can gaslight you. Probably. Hmm. I can't believe it, that Canada's already having winter, like winter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if anybody's gonna get a winner, they're gonna get a winner.
Yeah,
Guess it depends on where you're at, but I think once you cross Canada, you gotta pretty much expect snow at some point.
yeah.
I don't believe in snow, but some people do.
Yeah. Cheryl, yeah, it affected me. It was, oh my gosh, it was crazy. We went from 70 degrees in one day. It was 70 degrees during the day.
For the high?
Yes. And
Oh
then
wow.
it dropped down to 5 degrees. And
Oh, that was the Snowmageddon.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I still had my sunshade up on my deck because we weren't having any cold weather or anything. And
Is it one you can roll out and roll back in?
yes, it's I have it hanging on hooks and
I
I
got
can
you.
put it down, but I hadn't taken it down, and so we had 8 to 10 inches of snow come that
Wow.
night, and it was you couldn't even open the screen door because it was
Mm,
hanging so low, and it ended up busting one of the posts that I had holding it up. It was a 2x4, and
what what month was that?
it was February. It was around the
About,
12th or 15th, something like that.
about 3
And
or 4 years ago?
it was in 21. Was
Yeah,
it 21 or
yeah,
22?
about 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm,
our power was off for a while, and we were piling clothes on, but they were skin tight clothes. We didn't know loose fitting clothes,
yeah.
you cooler or warmer.
Build that warm air pocket.
Yes. I've learned a few things since then, thanks to all of y'all.
But when is the last time did you ever get snow before then?
Oh my gosh. It usually happens about every 10 years. It was, it was it was probably about 8 years before that we had snow.
But never that bad.
No, no. Usually when it snows here, because the ground is still so warm, it just turns to slush.
Yeah,
It doesn't really stay. In fact, the kids will leave school and run to the football field to start gathering snow and have
yeah.
snowball fights or build a snowman real quick or whatever. And of course, it doesn't last. But yeah, that snow you couldn't. It was it, it was not real snow, if you ask me. That's just my opinion because I tried to make snow ice cream out of it. Didn't happen. It was it's almost like it had a plastic content to it. It was just it was weird.
Mm, yeah, I mean that's almost a foot of snow in less than 24 hours. And like you said, the day before that it was 70 degrees.
Yeah.
That's like the coldest that I can ever remember it being in my short period on the earth was about 3 Christmases ago. I think this Christmas will be 3 Christmases ago
Yeah.
when they had that Arctic blast that just came down the East Coast, and I mean, it was freezing stuff all the way into North Florida. Remember that on Christmas Day?
Yes.
And here in Georgia, where I live, I drove out to my mom's house, and I think the highest it got that day was 25 degrees on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, and it was brutal. I was like, man. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, there's people that live in way worse temperatures than this. I was like, no.
And well, that's it. But it's usually a gradual work up to the cold. Like so your blood and your body can adjust. But when it goes
Yeah,
from warm to 5 degrees and
it
there's no
does something to you.
yeah, I'm sure the feels like was negative or at least zero. And so no, we weren't used to that. And yes, that's when the power grid went down. ERCOT got sued by so many people. We had a lot of deaths because
Mm.
people didn't know what to do to stay warm. One of them, I feel that it was the parents' fault. I don't know if they sued and won or anything, but um, that's what I was telling the girls. We're all piling in a bed together because I know body heat works better than anything. And um, I just think when it's weather like that, if you have children, get them in bed with you because
Yeah,
waking up to a frozen to death child has got to be just horrible. Mm.
I don't have kids, but I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah, and that's
All I
why I
got is
bought that.
sisters, so I always had to step in at some point. You know what I mean?
Yes, I saw a video of a family that just to see how they would do it, they cut their electricity off for a month, and they did it in January to see how they would survive. And they put tents up inside the house, and they were in one tent, and the kids were in the other. And because of the body heat being in such a confined space, she said the kids, she was awake all night worrying about the kids freezing or anything. And she said they got so warm they were pulling clothes off because,
Oh yeah.
yep, that's
If
the heat.
if
And
you're in a situation to do that, do that now while you have the luxury of just flipping a switch on and off.
yes,
Um, you're more prepared when you don't have that luxury and you got to wait for the power company or somebody to restore it. It's still going to
yeah,
be tough, but you've at least prepared yourself somewhat.
yeah. That's what she said. It was a good training for all of them. They didn't use any electronics. They didn't use their cell phones. They didn't use their no TV, no anything. And so they were playing board games. It was really good for the family to spend that month with nothing and just each other and, learning how to cook a meal with no power or shower, keep yourself clean, brush your teeth, whatever. It, it,
Definitely.
it was pretty cool. I was like, what a good idea. These kids would go into complete shock, but I need to try that. Um, and they're saying get wool. I'm allergic to wool too, so there you go. Can't have wool. I
I
had
could.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say it don't get cold enough down here for wool, but I could use it for like a waterproofing scenario.
Yeah,
But as far as being cold enough for wool, I mean, it'd have to be something super dramatic.
yeah. And that's, um, we always joke about, hold on a minute while our Texas is closed because they're trying to find their jackets or whatever because we hardly have to wear them. It's like we're not used to having to wear gloves and hats and all that. Not the beanie hats,
Yeah, I
but
do keep different stuff like that. I mean, it hadn't got to the point except for that Christmas day. I'm glad I had a few heavier coats that day. But
yeah,
for the most part, I mean, they just sit in the closet until I need them.
yeah. Well, since then, I did. Um, I found a Carhartt jacket at a confinement store, and and then Echo, Sweet Echo, she sent me hats and gloves, and
That's awesome.
that's today. The girl that I went to high school with, she came to visit, and we were out there talking, and she says, "Oh, by the way, I have something for you." And she made me a homemade blanket. It's the chunky crocheted. It's teal and white, my colors. I was like, I just burst into tears. I was like, I can't believe you did that.
It's awesome.
Hey, Gma Merkel, good to see you.
You ever seen those temperature blankets?
Yes.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't have one. I have an electric blanket, which, if you have no power, isn't going to do any good.
No, no, no. The temperature blanket. It's a blanket, and it shows the temperature from January the 1st all the way to December the 31st. So each individual section will be a different color, you know. And of course, if you lived more north, you'd have more blues and stuff. Of course, more colder. If you lived in the south, it would be more, maybe reds, oranges, and yellows, associated with those colors.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I know quilt, that I have one quilt, and Snowmageddon, that was the only thing that got me warm, because I had on a coat with the hood up, everything. I mean, I looked like polar bear. And my other friend, she that I've had forever, she's hot all the time. Like, usually during the winter, she's wearing capris, and if the heaviest coat she wears is one of those fleece jackets. And I'll be wearing my parka with the fur lined hood, and she's all, "You're embarrassing me. You look like a snowman or something." I said, "I'm cold." Of course, that was back whenever I weighed like 80 or 90 pounds. And I think that there weren't any layers to keep me warm.
Yeah, that's me. I'm pretty hot natured. But I mean, they really
Some,
don't start cooling down here to maybe, I don't know, it's Halloween. Maybe you start seeing, like, I guess the dramatic, well, not really dramatic, but like the constant change.
yeah,
By then, most of our 90-degree days is gone. It's just 80s at that point.
I have one of my daughters, she's really hot natured, and her daughter, the little one running around here, she is really hot natured, and she's just a little bitty thing. And it just surprises me when she'll come to me, "I'm just sweating like crazy." And I said, "What have you been doing?" Of course, she's running around and jumping, but
Yeah,
she don't.
I'm
She
sweating
won't.
bullets, and then I see somebody walking down the road with a hoodie on, and I'm thinking, man, what's going on with these people?
Some of
Maybe they're
us,
just that cold. I don't know.
yes.
It's 100 degrees out here. I don't think nobody should have on a hoodie. That's just not safe.
Well, and I usually wear a sweater, um, because in the house it's cool. And then you go outside and it's warm, but I just go ahead and keep it on. And if it gets too hot, then I come in again. Sometimes I'm pulling it off when it's over 90 degrees, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, sun bearing down on you. Then, yeah, I'm pulling it
Oh
off.
yeah, that's the hottest part of the day.
Yes. No, we don't want your Canadian winter for an educational purpose.
I don't know. I don't appreciate that.
There's a reason we live down south.
If you live in it and grow up in it, you're used to it. But yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. The only time it really, really bothers me is when we get up to 100 and over. Then it's suffocatingly hot. You walk outside and it just takes your breath away because it's so hot.
especially if it's humid.
Yeah.
Mm. It's like walking through a bowl of hot soup.
Hmm.
Literally.
And I know there's people that say we should, is it called climatize yourself? Like, um, get used to no heat or air at all
Yeah.
so that you can live through it if need be. But mm, you'll just see me laying in the yard or somewhere. I mean, I try. I'll sit out there a lot outside because I love being outside.
Oh
But
yeah, me too. I'll find a shady spot if I need to.
yeah, yeah. Usually I'm walking around and doing
But
something.
I know I appreciate the air conditioning like most people, but that'd be the hardest thing we'd have to deal with is in the South is, you know, worst case, unless you get a snowmageddon, that's worst case scenario. But normal scenarios, you could survive without no heat. I mean, you could build a fire or something, but
Yeah,
that'd be the hardest thing is not having that immediate AC or relief that you're just so. It's just such a convenience.
yeah.
As long as you know you got power, you got some air conditioning somewhere.
You know what's weird? And tell me why this is. When you're outside and um, so I'm outside and I'm not sweating and I'm okay. But when I walk inside to the air conditioning, then I just break out in a sweat. What causes that? Is it,
It's just your body's reaction, like condensation, like having a cold glass of sweet tea, and in a couple seconds, it's just sweating.
mm, okay, that makes sense.
That'd be my opinion. I don't know. There's probably a scientific terminology, but I'd probably say so.
Yeah. And then that's when I'm like, okay, head to the shower. I can't stand to be sweaty. Yeah, ice in the freezer, keep cool. Oh, I've used frozen vegetables, whatever, ice packs.
Oh yeah, I'll do a cold plunge if need be, and that'd be another thing. Like you think if the power went out for everybody up north, I mean, they could have a season or an accessibility to be able to freeze stuff or get ice. They could have like a root cellar because it would be cold enough up there for the most part. But in
Yeah.
the South, you wouldn't have that luxury anymore. It's not going to
Oh,
get cold enough. It's really too hot for like a root cellar unless you go like super deep or you live near like a creek or a river.
yes. And, well, as cold as it is up there, bring me a bottle of water. They, they could just, if it's always snowing, just put it under the snow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of
They
course.
have it made if their freezer goes out in the winter.
Yeah, during that season, yeah. That's why it's I forget where this guy lives at. He's I don't know, it's somewhere in Europe, but it's way up there where it gets super cold. And that's what he does is like he collects and makes ice all winter and stuff, and he keeps his root cellar walls they're lined with ice, and it just stays ice the whole season.
Oh, wow.
And then he'll go out there, and it gets so cold that he could just store stuff in containers in his outside buildings, and it still freezes. So I mean, he's just got buckets of fish that he's collected as frozen, deer, whatever wildlife. He cleans it, processes it, and it'll freeze up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That'd be the biggest adjustment.
No. No.
You can sing for everybody now?
I dance.
You're dancing.
I pose dance. See, that's posing dancing.
Posing dancing. That's a new one.
You never heard of code dancing?
No.
I mean, pause. You know, when I say it wrong, you never heard of pause dancing.
There you go.
What? Let me show you.
Okay. Aw, thank you. My little sweetheart. She gets to spend the night tonight.
Oh. Oh yeah, when we was kids, it was definitely kids are that age. It's just nothing but energy.
Yes. That's why I try and find things to keep her busy that's educational and instead of sitting in front of the TV all the time. She loves to dance. She loves to jump around. She just kick the ball.
So my little niece is, man, she's wide open.
Yep.
She'd probably rather be outside doing just running around.
That's the way we were. Excuse me.
They got different type of they got animals and stuff out there in gardens and stuff. So
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Minus 40 to 50.
man, that is insane.
Mm-mm. That's my cousin in Alaska. That's how it is there. And she took a video or a picture or something. She took a glass of water outside and kind of tossed it up in the air, and it froze. Just
Oh yeah.
and I was like, heck no, you keep that there.
Yeah, that's too cold. Yeah, I'll visit it when it's like plus 80 degrees, not minus 50.
Yeah, she comes down here to the States, and well, here in Texas, and if it gets up to 45, she's just like, okay, I'm dying. I'm dying. But when she stayed here at my house this last time, she was burning me up because she had on socks and I don't wear socks. It's got to be really darn cold for me to wear socks. And she had that electric blanket plugged in and over her, and I was like, what is wrong with you? You're used to the cold.
Yeah, that's too cold. Even if it's not snowing, just that, yeah.
Yeah, but they get so used to it too. She sent me pictures of the kids outside in shorts and sleeveless dresses and stuff and snow on the ground. And I'm like,
Phew. Yeah, it gets to -10. They're sweating bullets.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. So when they get a heat wave, they suffer bad.
What's the warmest they'll get? The temperature they'll get?
I have heard her say, I know 85, and I'm I'm thinking that she had said one time 100. And
Mm.
I was like, okay. Because a lot of, do people still live in igloos up there? Or was that a long time ago?
Mm. Probably not. So probably more if they're maybe hunting season, maybe, but probably not so much as they used to. I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
You'd have to be pretty remote.
Hey, Actions, good to see you. So, yeah, where G-Ma Merkel is, the West Coast, it seems to stay at a, they don't have much fluctuation there, unless you're up in the mountains, I guess. But um, I know my brother, they didn't have an air conditioner until the fires got close to them, and they would have to shut the windows because of the smoke, and then they'd be burning up. So they'd open the windows to get cooled off, and then the smoke would come in. And so he
Mm.
finally bought an air conditioner just because of the fires.
Mm.
And I would love that.
Yeah, certain places like that. Yeah, that don't see much of a change. Yeah, you
Yeah,
really, as long as you had a good breeze or maybe a couple fans, yeah, you could make it through it. You wouldn't need air conditioning. It's just that
yeah,
dramatic change that some people get.
yeah. The ocean on the west coast is cold, which makes the climate cooler.
It's just like certain parts of Florida, it'll be 75 and sunny on Christmas Day.
Yes, we have that a lot. When I have the Girl Scouts, we have a um, downtown. They do it's a big event for Christmas lights and all that. They have carriage rides and everything. And one night, well, one weekend, they let the nonprofits set up food booths, foods or drinks. And so with the Girl Scouts, we had the hot dogs and the hot chocolate. Sometimes it was nachos and hot chocolate, whichever was cheapest at the time. And
Oh yeah.
um, so the hot chocolate, though, it depended on the weather, how well it sold. Because sometimes it would be so warm, nobody wanted hot chocolate. And then sometimes they were running to it. But
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, it's definitely probably more of a cold weather drink.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, if you look back in history, a lot of like your royalty and people back then, they would drink these hot, like pure chocolate beverages. You know,
mm,
and if you get like pure chocolate and stuff, I mean, it's good for you. Of course, once the most of the stuff they sell on the shelf now, it's hardly any chocolate in it at all.
yeah,
You have to know what you're getting, but yeah, those type of drinks, yeah, I could see that. If it's real hot, yeah, they're not gonna have a good sale.
we don't want change. Hey,
We
Wild Adventure, Unshackled, good to see you.
we have one like that here every year. They call it the the lights of the South, and you can drive through it, or you can get in there and they'll hayride you through it. And
Yeah.
little fire pits, you can roast marshmallows and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. There's a park in Austin that they do that. I don't think you can drive through it, but walk through it. And it's a pretty big light thing. But besides the carriage rides, we have tractors that pull a trailer like a hayride. And
Yeah,
that's what my ex-husband does every year. Just pulling people around, showing them the lights.
there's another place like that here. They also do that. It's called Steed's Dairy, Steed, and
Mm-hmm.
they do stuff pretty much for every season. Like the spring and summertime, they have like the corn mazes. So you can walk around the corn mazes. They got the petting zoos. Certain times you can see a cow getting milked.
Mm-hmm.
They got this huge playground thing set up for the kids that can just run around on hay rides. That's pretty
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
And it's still pretty cheap to go experience all that. I forget how much it is, but it's just pretty cheap.
True. Wild adventure. Sleigh rides with horses. Uh, a sleigh ride would be cool. I've never had one of those, obviously.
Yeah, that would be cool. Just a one-time deal. You know, say you did it.
Yes.
Get to see what all the hype's about. Let's go. Where's Rudolph at? Hook him up. You know,
Yeah.
down in they used to do it here a while back, but I don't know why they stopped it. And they was talking about bringing it back, like doing the carriage, the horse rides downtown. I
Mm-hmm.
know down there in Savannah, they still do it. It's still a big thing. You can just get on the carriages and they'll ride you around all time of the day, night.
Yeah. I always
Cool.
wanted to do that. I haven't done it, but
That's pretty fun, especially at nighttime. It's a totally different experience.
yeah. I went on the hay ride, but I haven't been on the carriage ride. The carriage ride looks romantic, and haven't had that romantic person.
Hey, there's always a cowboy and a horse somewhere, you know?
True.
Yeah, they was talking about starting to do it back down here downtown, but they probably won't. It sounds like too much of a good idea.
It's good money. I think they come in from around Austin or somewhere and bring them in, and they're the real pretty ones. They're white with the red seats, and they look really nice. One year, whenever I was down there with the Girl Scouts, um, at the courthouse, they sell the. There's a group of ladies that make homemade ornaments, and they make really nice ones actually. And they'll sell them out of the courthouse during Christmas. And so that carriage was parked in front of the courthouse when I was going over there to get the ornaments. And I stopped and started petting the horse, and they got upset. They were like, "Don't touch the horse." And stepped back. I'm sorry. I should have asked.
Yeah, they definitely should capitalize here in this area because there's a big equestrian community. There's horses everywhere. Um,
Really?
Even right across the river in South Carolina. So I'm right here on the Savannah River, so I mean I can be in Carolina in a few minutes. But in Aiken, South Carolina, every year, it's before the Kentucky Derby. So a little earlier in the year, they have the Aiken steeplechase. And it's
Hmm.
pretty much just like a Kentucky. It's just like the same thing, you know. But
How cool.
they have it over in Aiken, and it's a pretty big thing.
Do they wear the big hats?
Oh yeah, it's a whole deal. I've never been to it personally, but yeah, the people that go to it, yeah, some of them make a real big deal out of it.
Yeah.
It's just a
I
thing, you
always
know.
wondered. Yes.
The women are usually have the big hats, and the man will usually, you know, have on something kind of sharp.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's probably too hot for a suit, but you know,
True.
but yeah, they usually
Yeah.
have it earlier in the year. It's usually like I think in March or April.
Okay. Atkins.
But
Seems like I've seen that name in Georgia. Or
what's
some
that?
Atkins, is that what you said?
Aiken. It's
In,
it's Aike Aiken, South Carolina.
oh, South Carolina. Okay.
Pretty nice town.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of everything out there.
Never been over there. I haven't been much of anywhere. I plan to take a trip. I'm working on it. I told my daughter I'm ready to go. If the closet has to wait, it has to wait. I'm ready to go somewhere. I'd really like to go that direction and see my stepmother and see how she's doing.
Shit, I don't know how much they cost, but you could even rent like small RVs, you know,
Hmm.
like the smaller drivable type, you know.
It's pretty pricey. I looked into that and
I bet like everything.
I was surprised.
I bet the biggest thing you're probably paying for is their whatever their insurance is
Yeah,
to keep all that stuff intact wherever somebody's going.
and the gas they use is a lot.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, it's just cheaper to drive and stay in an Airbnb. I've seen Airbnbs like $50 to $100 a night, and
We
that's pretty
do
good.
we do some work for this company. Well, I mean, I forget the company, but especially just like a couple guys, they started up a company just buying real estate, and every now and then they'll buy a spot somewhere and they'll turn it into it, and we'll do the electrical and they'll fix it up, and they'll turn it into an Airbnb, and they make pretty good money off doing it.
Yeah,
You figure the biggest real estate company in the world doesn't even own a piece of real estate, and that's Airbnb. They're just a middleman to connect somebody.
yeah. We have a lot of people that have them around here.
Yeah,
Just a little 2 bedroom. Some of them are 1 bedroom. Um, we have a lot of house cleaners, and that's most of their business is cleaning Airbnbs.
oh yeah. I think a lot of people that had real estate or that got into real estate, they seen that as kind of an avenue where you know you can get, depending on the season or location, you can get pretty much constant revenue on it, you know,
Yes,
and you don't have to worry about maybe the possible wear and tear of somebody leasing it out, you know, 6 months or a year. Maybe if they tear something up, maybe they won't, you know.
yeah.
still got your regular maintenance, but I think if you had a good spot at an Airbnb, it could probably make you some money.
It's true.
Even now in today's market. It's one thing they ain't making no more of. They ain't making no more land. So if you own some, try to hold on to it.
Yeah. That's what my friend was telling me today. She was like, "Are you moving to your mama's?" I said, "It's up in the air." Don't know. And she was looking around and she said, "I would stay right where you're at." And I said, "I know. That's the way I feel. I know all the people around me. I know the whole community in town. Most of them. There's a lot of new people that I don't really know. I see their names, talk to them on Facebook, but I don't have any kids in sports anymore, so that's usually where you really get to know
Oh yeah.
most of the
That's
people.
true. All the different functions and stuff.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah, I've seen something like that here, um, and they don't drive well.
Yeah, even the normies ain't driving well. I mean, nobody's driving well.
No, so that's nationwide because
Oh, it's a nation. I don't know about nationwide, but it's definitely a here thing too. I'm like, man, these people scare me. And then it was a
yes,
couple years ago they passed a law where texting and driving was illegal. So however they catch you or whatever, it's fines or whatever. Man, as soon as they passed the law, it seemed like it just got worse. Like everybody was just blatantly just doing it now. Everybody.
yes,
It's like it had a reverse effect. Like who's enforcing this type of stuff? Everybody's doing it. It's more reckless now than before.
that's one thing that I just started seeing lately is the DPS on motorcycles. I haven't seen that in years, and I was like, "What? They're on motorcycles now?" And my daughter said, "Yep, that's the last one that got me." Would you just slow down? She just doesn't pay attention to the speed. She's just like humming along, and next thing you know, she's getting pulled over.
Like the other day, I'm going down the road just minding my own business in the right lane, and the only reason I look back is because I see this. Wasn't a Jeep, but it was one of those SUVs that kind of looked like a Jeep knockoff. I
Uh-huh.
seen it was coming up and we really fast, and I'm thinking, man, what is this guy doing? I just kept going, and he zoomed around me, got in front of me just to hit the brakes and turn. I'm thinking, what the heck was the point of that? You just could have caused a total catastrophe.
Yes,
Luckily I'm paying
always.
attention. I'm always alert on stuff like that. But
Yep. When I was working in Austin coming out, they would do that to me all the time. Just fly around me and then turn into a convenience store or something. And I was like, I'd be back there slamming on the brakes, trying not to hit them because um, I don't know if it is there, but when you rear end someone, it's kind of automatically your fault
yeah,
unless
most times, yeah.
unless you have a witness or an officer that sees what they did to you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do it because they just really don't care. And some people could be doing it because they're trying to pull a scam like that. They're just hoping that somebody would hit them just so they could do maybe a scam.
Collect insurance.
Could be, yeah.
Yep.
There's people that do that, scams every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've been having head-ons like crazy. I keep hoping that they'll put up just even one of those thin cement barriers that you see when, I don't know, on expressways or whatever.
Yeah,
Something,
the dividers, the medians.
yes, something on that center line, because so many people, and you wouldn't believe how many people we see on their cell phone still. When you can connect it to your radio or you can put it on speaker or whatever, but they're holding that phone to their ear or looking at it, and that's all it
Yeah,
takes.
see it every day.
Yep.
Yeah, they've had to put certain little dividers like that in certain areas around here, and some intersections they got so bad they turned them into roundabouts.
Yeah. Well, they're finally starting to put up some street lights, like out in the middle of nowhere. If there's a busy road that cuts off to it, of it, like a farm road, they'll put
Oh
up a
yeah,
street light because they just have so many accidents. And that's what my daughter was talking to someone from TxDOT, and she said, how do you get, because like the farm roads, I don't think that a semi should be allowed to be on those little narrow 2-lane roads, especially when they're really curvy. And so that's what she was questioning. And they said there's no law against it. And the only way that anything gets changed is, sadly, they go by how many accidents there are or deaths. And
oh
then
yeah.
if there's enough of them. And she said, well, that's really sad that so many people have to die before you can get something done about this dangerous. If you see it's a danger, fix it before all these people have to die. I don't
They just
understand it.
they just hope that there's not enough accidents or enough people won't complain or enough people come together. That's just like in a class action lawsuit. You have to have enough people come together to do that, or even like recalls. You know, we hear about recalls every day now more than ever. Uh, you have to have enough cases reported before it's even considered a recall. You know,
Yeah.
you
Well,
may have
that's,
so many gone under the radar, but until you get a certain level, then okay, now we consider it a recall.
yeah. Yeah. She even asked if I get a petition because she knows you can get a bunch of signatures. And they said, you can try it, but I'm telling you, it won't do any good. And
And then sometimes you know you have the somewhat of the legal edge and the documents, but those big corporations, I mean, they'll take forever to do stuff, you know, and it sucks because you got to have money to contend with those type of people, you know,
yes, yeah,
and if you really needed the cash, then you wouldn't be doing it. So it's like a catch, you know.
yeah,
You probably could win it, but I mean, it could take 3, 4, 5 years, and just who knows how much court costs that could eat up.
true. It don't take no time.
That's why it does help the enough people to connect when they see these type things happening, especially if it's happening to them, and they come together. It's definitely more of a fighting chance.
Yeah, stick up your own signs. I wonder if that's against the law.
What's that?
Of course, people don't even look at signs anymore, but still, like, slow down, please, curve ahead.
Uh, I've seen some in that area. I've seen ones that say like drive like your kids stay in this neighborhood or something like that, you know. That'll
Yes,
catch your attention. Or even like I've seen some city neighborhoods, they say school bus stops or children and stuff. But yeah, a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff.
Mm-mm.
They see it, but they don't really acknowledge it.
Yeah. They're pretty strict about school buses here. If they try to go around them, once the
Oh
yellow
yeah,
lights flashing, you better be coming to a stop.
yeah. I don't play that game. I make sure I stop because you never know. Little
Mm-hmm.
little kids running from everywhere. I know when I was little, shoot, it might take me 3 minutes. I might run around the bus 3 times before I get on there. Ain't no telling. Yeah, fortunately, they had an accident here a few years back, and they had to make the law a little bit more stricter on that type of stuff here locally. But yeah, and I think a lot of the buses got the cameras and stuff on there. So once those stop signs come out, it seemed like they would have a camera in place.
Heck, how much open? I'm trying to get to this video on YouTube to get that link that Annie put, and my phone's broke. It's not doing nothing. Oh
You
well,
break it, you buy it.
I'll have to go back to it. Hey Eric, thank you.
Yeah, I send myself dozens of links and articles throughout the day I find just so I can make sure I know I had them saved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my Facebook Messenger's full.
It's like I don't know, what was it, New York City? Did you hear the story? Might have been New York, where I think the lady and the daughter, uh, they said their cell phone charger exploded or caught fire, and they had serious injuries behind it.
Oh no.
Let's see. Let me try to find it. I think I saved it. That was a weird story.
Well, that's what I've been a little concerned about after the pagers um and that's what I wanted to ask you too, what like the pagers and what was the other one?
Walkie-talkies,
Walkie-talkies.
radio.
So how could those explode? How could somebody explode them? Because those are not connected to the internet. A pager's not, is it?
It could be so simple. Here now we don't really think about pagers. People have walkie-talkies, radio, but
Right.
you probably can't remember the last person you ran into that still had a pager. But any type of device like that could be compromised. You could solder an extra chip, some type of receiving chip on there, and let's just say a certain level hertz went out. Let's just say 1,000 hertz wave went out, and that's what activated those chips, which activated whatever could have been inside the device.
So
It wouldn't
it's
even take a signal as in we think of being on our cell phones or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which it could be a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but it just takes a radio signal or wave at that point.
satellite signal, Eric said.
Yeah.
So, and well, I guess with the walkie-talkies, I don't know. I just,
especially if it was one particular kind of brand or one particular type of thing, you could easily track it to a source. But if you start seeing like multiple different brands or multiple different devices, then my first instinct would be to look at what the chip is. If it's a different device, the only thing that could be the same is the chip.
So it would be something in the making of it.
Could be. It could be something that small. It
Wow.
doesn't take much. It just takes the smallest. You think of our cell phones, just how much stuff they process and can do on a daily basis in those tiny little chips. And all you need is a chip just to receive one signal one time. That's it. So
Yeah.
it
Well,
doesn't take
that's where the
much.
cell phone, I could see it happening because, I mean, obviously they know everything that's going on your cell phone. So it's like it's connected to Google, it's connected to Chrome, it's connected to, if you have your Wi-Fi
Cloud.
turned on, yes, the cloud, all of that. So I could see where they would have total access of your phone and make it do that. But I didn't think a pager or a walkie-talkie could go off like that.
Yes. All it is just a simple board, a little board, and they just solder whatever components they need to have onto it. It's just like if you was to open up the inside of a remote or the inside of old telephones and stuff. It's going to be that same uh, computer board style thing with different nodes and chips put on there for whatever the purpose is, receiving, sending.
Yeah. And that's what somebody said, they're high tech.
Oh, it's precise. It's super precise. I mean, it's within millimeters. Um, yeah. This ain't like talking in the or however they used to do it. I don't know, but yeah, it's super precise with just technologies and I guess satellites they have now.
Yeah.
Um, Everything's got a scaven, license plates. I think pretty much everybody's license plate now, if you got a new one, it's got a barcode on it somewhere.
Yeah. That's true.
Um,
Eric, you be
License.
safe. Goodness. Uh-oh. I'm being paged. Yeah, I didn't see any of the live footage of it. I just had seen that it had happened one day, one, and the next day, the other one. And was it in two different countries? Lebanon and
What's that?
where those went off.
I'm not for sure as far as the specifics. I think it was could have been.
Oh, just keep rebuking that evil. Yeah,
I mean,
Gaza. Yeah, I
and
don't know if they're
I
in
can
this.
imagine that area, some people would have paid more pagers or radios just because it doesn't have, it's not as it's harder to track, really. But
Yeah,
if somebody knows that you're buying a device and they want to harm you, of course they know that you won't need that device.
yeah, something else. So many things going on. Everybody just be careful. Keep your eyes open. Don't trust nobody. I hate to say that because,
There are people we can trust,
yes,
I think at this point in anybody's life, we know a few people, you
yes,
know. Just especially if you got a good community, a good family, just keep looking over them.
Yes. Lebanon and Syria. Excuse me. So, I go back to Indy's show again. And we've talked about it here too. There's, when we talk about the Assembly, nationalassembly.net, and a lot of people are like, how is that going to work? How can you make it work? Well, apparently in 2013, there was a national assembly, and I think it was Obama was wanting to go to war with Syria, and the assembly wrote a letter saying the assembly, I don't know the exact wording, but the assembly disagrees with the decision to go to war with Syria. We do not feel that this is in the best interest of our country. And so we didn't go to war with Syria. So that tells me that that worked. And because of all the people who have tried to copy it and make money off of it, it's caused a divide to where it kind of just fell apart. And that's what they're trying to rebuild that. And that's where the people have the voice. Just wanted to give a reference where it did work. And that's a major one to work on. Stopping a war. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Anytime people can come together for the right reasons or for a good cause, it definitely pays off. It can be done. A lot of
Yeah.
times it's easily overlooked nowadays because just the confusion and the gossip and stuff that sells the headlines, you know?
Yes.
It's like that old saying, a house divided cannot stand. You know, if your house just broke in half, you're not gonna start rebuilding it with the roof. You're gonna start with the foundation, with the roots, where you're
Yeah.
from, where you're at. You know, you start from your roots and you build up to that roof. You know, uh, people make sure their communities are strong, make sure their families are taken care of locally. You know,
Good
start
advice.
doing that, and that has no choice but to radiate outwards. You know,
Yeah.
it's either going to bring people to you that want to support you and build the cause, or it's going to push the people away that don't want nothing to do with it. And at that point, you're winning either way. It eliminates them people out of your life. You don't have to worry about that negativity and brain space with those people.
Yeah. And that's what I said. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who've been prepping, and if you have things that are getting expired, donate it to your food banks or churches, just wherever they can use it. So it'll get used up. If you have a soup kitchen, I had even thought about opening a soup kitchen for through the winter, but I have so much going on. I keep coming up with ideas to just pile more on, and I'm like, okay, I can only do so much. I gotta stop this.
Life has a way of doing that. Sometimes we just gotta sit back, take a deep breath, and realize what needs our immediate attention right now, and what could actually wait till tomorrow, and what really just doesn't need our attention at the moment. You know,
Yep.
just take a deep breath.
Gma, you're talking to me. I'm an on deck. I won't disagree with you. I don't know what I did was odd, but okay.
What's that?
Oh, okay. She's not talking to me. Chat, just talking. I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't get to see the whole conversation. I'm gone on the right. Oh, I didn't know it does that, Eric. Thank you for telling me. That heart that pops up that I keep seeing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it works with the algorithm. It's like hitting the like button. You got some type of way on you could go on your page and settings and it'll show you I don't know the specifics, but it'll show you like how many reactions you got or like how many reactions you got per video, like if it's live.
Huh.
There's a way you can do that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I know I've heard other people say that they've checked that. I hardly see any of the analytics that um I don't ever even see how many views or whatever. It, I just feel it in my heart that I need to talk about some things, and I come on and talk about it. And thank you for the links, Annie. Um, I will be going back to check those. Yeah, I know the canned foods. I have some. You can buy those chili and beans, a 4-pack, and they're wrapped in plastic, and I don't even know what the expiration date is on those, but
It's like we did a job the other week. We did a couple of different jobs for them, but the other week we ran some dedicated power lines for these scanners. They pretty much just scan the product as it comes underneath. But this place, all it is like a distribution warehouse. They get breads, hot dog buns, hamburger buns, chips, cookies, all type of stuff. They get it delivered there, and then the other trucks deliver it locally. But man, we did a job up there the other week, and we left with literally pallets of stuff like cakes, donuts. The really only thing I kept was a bunch of the breads. I threw them in the freezer. But yeah, my coworker, he's got a bunch of kids. I gave him most of the chips, all that stuff. I know his kids will tear it up. Wasn't nothing wrong with it. Most of the stuff was still in date. They just had to, I don't know how it works. They have loads of that stuff, and they just throw it away because I
it's
guess
so sad how much food we waste in
man,
this country.
dude was like, if you ever want anything and we're not here, he was like, just come by Friday at 1 o'clock. He was like, that's when we put everything in the dumpster.
Yeah,
And he told us, he said, we don't mess with it. We don't put anything on it. If somebody wants to get it, it's still nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
Some companies, they'll make it in their policy where they have to like destroy stuff or put chemicals on the stuff, when they put it in a dumpster to keep people from getting it. And like, what sense does that make? If somebody's hungry enough, they're going to get a loaf of bread and try to eat it. Now you don't put the chemicals on there. Who knows what it's going to do to the person? What
yeah.
sense does that make at all?
I know it.
Yeah, I'm thinking just that one business, just think how much stuff could be donated.
Yeah, and that's what HEB again. They are an awesome company. Um,
Grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. Most of the stuff that I have seen people get from the food banks has been donated by HEB. Definitely all the breads and pastries and a lot of the HEB canned foods, peanut butters, stuff like that. They are just they would rather donate it than throw away. Because if I do that, every time I hit try to type an A, I hit the cap button and then it's all wonky. Y'all want a song? Or waiting for what? Live? Yes? Okay, good. Let me see which one. Might as well do the title, right?
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a feeble pitch is bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and tell me out in all you should bear. See how I live with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a feeble pitch is bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart inside of your hand. You played it to the beat. Baby, I have no story to be told, but I've heard once of you. I'm gonna make your head burn. Think of me in the depths of your despair. Make a hound down there, so mine sure won't be shared. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart inside of your hand. You played it to the beat. Could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart inside of your hand. But you played it with a beating. Throw your soul through every open door. Count your blessing to find what you look for. Turn my sorrow into treasure gold. You pay me back in kind to reach of what you sow. You're gonna wish you never had none. We could have had it all. We could have had drowning in the deep. You have my heart inside of your head, but you played it, you played it, you played it, you played it to the beat.
Yeah, I like that song too.
Oh yeah, that was a good song.
Hey, Rainwater. Let it give you a break. Play a song. Wait a minute. Y'all saw me pissed. When y'all see me pissed?
Whoa, what happened now?
They're saying they've seen me mad once, and
Oh, it could happen.
yeah, I can get mad, but it's usually for it would really take something major, and um, I feel like it would have to be something that was justifiable to be mad about.
Yeah, same here. It had to be something pretty specific.
Yep. Especially if it has to do with kids. That's a good way to set me off real quick.
Yeah, kids or family, it's usually the line for most people.
Yeah, all kids. But yeah, definitely family first. But
Yeah, 'cause no matter how smart a kid is, they're still innocent.
yes. Maybe kiss off. Usually if I get mad I just get quiet.
That's me. I usually try to get quiet, try to get my breathing under control,
Hmm.
and most time that works.
I have found it's best to just stay quiet if I'm mad because I'll say something stupid or something I don't mean. Or so yeah, silence is sometimes better to cool down and speak. But if it's something going on, it's instant. No,
Yeah, a lot of times we have ways of making long-term decisions with short-term emotions.
that's true. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just part of learning.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the ability to learn from my mistakes and just be I don't know, maybe a vegetable, I guess you could say, you know?
True. Man, some people are ruthless in that learning lesson.
Sometimes it can be.
Yeah.
It's like snatching the band-aid off that's made of duct tape.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good.
Yeah, these ain't your Dollar Tree band-aids that come off as soon as you start sweating.
Yeah. So, did you really? I used to want the colored light underneath my car. I thought that was so cool and easier for people to see you coming.
Yeah, I remember at one time around here, I don't know if they were giving people tickets about stuff, then it kind of went away, but now, yeah, it's lights on everything.
hmm I love to see the semis at night that have the lights on the sides and
Oh, yeah.
the place, and they just, it's pretty, really, and definitely easily seen because these country roads, they're pretty dark when there's no moon.
Oh, I know what you mean. There's a bunch of roads around here at nighttime, yeah, in the country. The only lights is your headlights and the moon.
Yes,
I mean, you cut them off and it's, whew.
yeah. Anything can jump out in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Deer, random guy playing a banjo at 3 o'clock in the morning, who knows?
Okay, he would be in trouble, but well,
Nah, he would, because I'm just going to keep on going. I'm just trying to forget how he would even happen. My, one of my nephews, him and his buddy, they do that as like a little side thing. They they put like those little fiber optic inserts in like your people's headrest, and it kind of looks like stars. Or you can even get the one where it kind of looks like you got a shooting star going through your headrest. And
oh, neat.
man, him and his buddy, they've been doing a bunch of those.
Huh, that sounds cool. Yeah, around here, the wild hogs are the ones to worry about. The deer also. I've seen a deer total a car, but you hit a wild hog and you know it.
Oh yeah, they're big enough. Yeah, you know it for sure. It's like hitting a boulder encased in jello, you know? Man.
That's why I always want a pickup truck to get the grill guard to kind of have something shielding.
Yeah, I love a truck. It's always handy. That's just like the other day. I was thinking, man, I need to get another rack or something to hang some clothes or store some stuff in. So, what was it? I think it was Saturday when I was out and about, and I'm just going down the road, and I don't know if it is about this one particular house. They've set out so much stuff that I've got. They probably don't even know I'm the guy that's getting it, but most of the stuff is just there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I clean it up, I can reuse it. Most of it, I found like a wooden desk. I found like a couple wooden chairs, but this time it was like this wooden stand that somebody it was made. They didn't buy it. That somebody made it and just had a couple different rods at a couple different elevations where you could hang stuff on. And at the bottom, the wood is like at an angle where you could put your shoes or your boots on.
Yes,
Man, I stowed that thing in the back of the truck, and it was weird because I was just thinking about I needed something similar to that.
that is awesome. See, you were blessed.
But yeah, if I wouldn't have had a truck, I wouldn't have been able to get it.
Right. And that's the problem.
I got out, grabbed it, and I said, okay, it's light enough I can grab it by myself, but
Yeah.
that sucker in the back of there.
Kiss off, you're a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like about once a month with these people. They'll find something that they just don't need no more and just set it out there.
That's good. I plan to do that with quite a few things. And around here. It's out there just for maybe a couple hours at the most, and it's gone.
Especially if it's
But that's
metal.
good. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, though. If somebody's in need, then heck yeah, and saves you from trying to haul it to a dump or something, and especially if it's something good.
Oh yeah, I'll reuse it, repurpose it, or I'll know somebody that might be looking for a table, and I just might happen to find one or something, or I'll make
Yes,
sure it goes somewhere that can use it, besides a trash can.
yeah. And it's so much work to do a garage sale, and you just it's not even worth the money you make. Usually, is what I have found.
It depends, and then it's with the price on other stuff being so high, people don't really have that extra little money that they have put away for stuff like that, like they used to.
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid and I'd go stay with my mom's grandparents on the weekend, my granddad, when he retired from the military, he had an antique store here in Augusta, and he would just all the time be looking for something to buy to sell. And the first of the month weekends, oh man, we was getting up super early. And before we went to the flea market, I think we probably went to every yard sale in between there and the flea market, I promise you.
Yes.
And we stopped at every one and walk around. And of course, he'd buy me a few things, but he'd find stuff that he might sell later on at the flea market or just hold on to sell later. He just had the eye to know what to look for, you know.
Yeah.
He said, "You see this? If it's got a sticker on the bottom, it ain't worth having. 1 million people got them. They don't even want them. Put it back."
The made in somewhere.
Yeah, made in wherever. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, even if it's made in America, it's American product. But like the old glass or the old pottery, it's have stuff engraved in it. Maker's marks, stuff like that.
Yes.
It's like there was this guy at the flea market the other day. And he had some nice cast iron pans, all type of stuff. But man,
Oh goodness.
he just wanted too much for him. I was thinking about getting a couple pieces, but even with talking them down, it was still a little bit more.
Yeah.
I said,
I
well,
know.
catch him out here a few more weekends from now. I might can talk them down a couple bucks, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking for a cauldron. Although my son-in-law says he has one. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Oh, if you got one, don't get rid of it. They're harder and harder to find. Any
Yeah.
size, really. Especially the bigger ones.
Yeah. And now they got a fireplace. Of course, it's not deep like it would need to be to do that. But like I said, I have the burner for outside, that hooks up to the propane tank.
Well, it's put up out there at my mom's house in the country, but still got one. I don't know how many gallons it is. It's a pretty good cast iron cauldron. And whenever we used to roast our pigs and stuff like that during the summertime, that's what they would use that big cauldron to cook the hash in or the Brunswick stew.
Yep.
And they just would cook up a mess of it. And I'm thinking, man, this is just, I know I could eat a lot of it, but this is too much. But shoot, by the time everybody got some and some got put up to freeze, shoot, that cauldron was empty.
Yeah. That's what my grandmother used to tell me about, hanging in the fireplace all day long, just sitting there cooking
Yeah.
all together. throw everything in it with the kitchen sink.
Yeah, before power, yeah, you always had a fire going because you never know when you might want to cook something or have company would show up.
Mhm.
You always had water on the boil.
Yeah.
It's like these newer houses we're wiring up here. They're getting these. They put out some heat, but it's the electric style of fireplaces with the little screen on it. Almost looks like the little TV.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, those are cool, I guess. And for the most part, you really don't need to start a fire here to keep warm inside. But if I'm building a house, I'm going to at least have a real one,
Yeah.
just in case I want to or need to. I'm going to make sure it's big enough that I could cook on it like that. Big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you ever been to the Cracker Barrel, if you ever been to one of the Cracker Barrels that has the fireplaces in it,
Yeah.
how big they are. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want one like that.
Yeah. Yeah, if I can never get my son-in-law to take a day off, we were talking about setting up an outdoor kitchen with all those cinder blocks I have that are just sitting there.
What are you going to do with them?
We want to do an outdoor kitchen, like make a kind of like a pit with an oven.
I got you. The only thing with certain blocks like that, you want to make sure they have like a like a temperature rating, stuff like that, because a lot of your bricks that's used for like oven or cooking, they're rated a lot higher than just to say a cinder block you would go get to build something or a shed or a house. You know what I mean?
Yes,
The
that
only
makes
and then
sense.
you could have the risk of maybe the cinder block exploding. Should just be a little leery on that.
Oh wow, I didn't know they could explode.
Yeah, the cooking ones like cooking stones and like those type of blocks made for like cooking, they're uh made a little bit different. They're tempered where they can withstand those high temperatures.
Yeah,
Like pizza ovens or brick ovens.
so just use the cinder blocks as a base, and then get
Yeah.
the heat.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Thank you
Just to
for
be on
that.
just to be on the safer side, especially when you're cooking and stuff.
Yeah,
Something like that's worth paying a couple more bucks because anything could happen, but at least you got that little bit of extra protection.
yes. Yeah, I always see them make them with the red bricks when I watch a video on it. I love to watch videos where they're making anything out of cement or bricks, or watch this lady make a little house under a tree. It was kind of up on a slope. She just started digging into that slope, and it was like, man,
Yeah, I forget the term they call for that. It's a term like when you build like a house or a dwelling, like in the side of a hill or a land. Um,
hobbit.
it definitely would make it cooler.
Yes,
Underground is cooler. I have
and
seen it like in deserts or something like that. They almost have to do it like as a necessity.
that's she kind of made it like a trap door to open and close to get in it, and she planted grass on top of it. You couldn't even tell that it was there.
Oh no, yeah, yeah, I've seen videos like that. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
it's like
telling you, these Asian people, they really got it going on. They know everything.
I think they still have like cell phones, but it's not like an everyday immersion. I don't know how to describe it really. So they're more. It's just
Yeah.
they have to live more on the land. They're more focused on family, community. I guess maybe land gardening in an aspect. Um,
Yes.
they still have phones and stuff, of course, because we're seeing their content. But I think it's just a different. I don't know, culture, maybe mentality. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Factory scene.
if it really came down to it, I mean, I could probably, if the whole grid went down, I mean, I could make bricks, some Georgia clay, make some little
Oh,
rocks, some grass or some hay, and I can make my own bricks. It'd take me
I've,
some time.
yeah, I've seen that done too. And that's actually what I was thinking for a house. And, or I've seen even where they use a bag, they'll fill it with dirt and then like stucco the outside and inside of it. And
Oh yeah,
it's lead proof. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, yeah,
It's like, that's a pretty good idea.
yeah.
Refractory
I mean,
cement. I've never heard of that.
what's that?
Eric uh, said refractory cement
Oh
is
yeah,
used to build a brick oven.
you figured hundreds of thousands degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what you're cooking, and then that stuff's constantly lit.
Well, we're just thinking, like, of course, barbecue all the time, but pizzas done in those has a whole different flavor.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love making homemade pizza.
Oh, tires and dirt. I know. I can remember. Geez, um, one of my friends lived in a house, and it was built like in the 70s, 60s or 70s, and they used trash. There was glass bottoms in it, and cement. They would just take those, whatever it was, and it really looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and stack them and use them almost like the bricks in a way, and just put mortar and cement around
Yes,
them. Yeah,
that's cool, Ann. I didn't know they let y'all do that in Canada. Seems like Gigi was saying she couldn't have a fire pit in the backyard.
I mean, in my area, for the most part, unless it's like dry, which has been like for the most summer, they'll put out a burn notice or burn ban. But
Yeah,
even with that, there's ways around it. You're still allowed to have a cooking fire,
yeah,
on your own property,
yeah.
whatever
That's
that may be. You know.
the same way it is here. And usually it's a cleared out area around it with gravel or something so
Yeah.
that won't happen. Because, yeah, it'll get so dry here, one spark will do it. The welders have to quit making the fences.
Yeah. That's all it takes. One little spark when it's that dry.
Yep, it's bad.
That's like it was almost a month straight. I think it was like 3 weeks in a row
There you
here
go.
in town, on one of our busiest expressways, Bobby Jones Expressway.
Mm.
There was a fire there, every Friday, I think, for 3 weeks in a row. 1 week, I don't really know what happened. Maybe somebody threw out a cigarette. And then the other 2 weeks, it was car fires.
Goodness.
But they were in the same spot on Bobby Jones. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Huh. You know, being with the fire department, whenever they would inspect on how the fire started, they said that they had never seen one started with a cigarette butt. It was usually a car pulled over that had leaked some oil or glass bottle, or I don't know. It was
Yeah,
all
a glass bottle could do it. The light reflecting through it could easily do it. It's like a
yeah,
magnifying glass, you know. Pretty sure we did that experiment before.
yes, broken window, like if somebody had had a wreck, and
Yeah. Yeah, just a broken piece of glass. If it's big enough and in the right reflection, definitely.
yep,
And it's stuff that we do as a people, you know. I mean, not saying we throw our trash out, but you know, I mean, it's just stuff that really wouldn't happen naturally if people just wouldn't throw the trash out.
yep,
I hate going down the road and just seeing a bunch of trash on the road.
yeah. I had seen a video. Well, I think it was that firmament video that um, I heard somebody else talking about that today too. Water above as below, or something like that. And that's what they were talking about. Like, they're talking like we're in this bubble with the firmament, and but inside the firmament is us and the moon and the sun and everything that grows naturally. But man, it's like every time we take out the nature, it's destroying more for us. And I mean, it kind of makes sense.
It's like when you think of it that way, it's almost like you're like a snow globe in a way. You know,
Hmm.
you've got that outer of the snow globe, and inside is that complete little world inside that firmament. You know, of course, that water is inside the snow globe, but you know, same concept.
Right.
Um, yeah,
And I keep seeing all these things about no gravity. Like, who did a video just recently? I think it was Brian Lloyd, and he had 2 glasses of water, and one of them he put salt in it, and so the plain glass of water he put an egg in it, and the egg sunk to the bottom, and then the other glass he put the egg in it, and it floated. It didn't sink, and he said, "What? Did gravity all of a sudden just disappear?" And I was like,
who is this guy?
yeah,
I could easily. It's the simple fact the egg floated with the salt is because the salt made the water more dense, more buoyant. It's like the Red Sea. You know, it's so full of salt that you can just almost go out there and float on the water. It makes it more buoyant. That's what made the egg would float. Um, and he could have did something with the egg to make it do that as well. Who knows? But it just you could add a bunch of salt in there, and it would make something more buoyant. Because now the water is more dense with all the salt.
that's true.
You know,
Yeah,
you take a 2 cups of water and 2 cups of salt and mix that together, and I mean, you can't even see through it at that point.
yeah.
I don't think it's so much, not necessarily. We could give it a name, gravity, but I don't know what it's called. But I've come to the understanding if I hold an object and I let it go, 10 times out of 10, it's usually going to hit the floor. I don't
Yeah,
know really what to call it, but I think there's ways to like displace energy, you know, just like by adding salt to that water, naturally you displace the energy of the water.
that's true. There's so many things can happen with water too. I showed that video with the petri dishes and the just speaking to it, speaking to one positive, speaking to one negative, and the difference in how it formed. It was,
It's like the term living water. You ever heard that term?
yes, a lot.
Living water, just like anything, or like you've heard people say, talking to your plants, or even like when a child's in a room to play like certain music and stuff, they say that has certain stimulation and stuff. So I mean, I don't know the science behind it, but it does make sense.
Yeah. It is.
It's like remember the old Superman? Well, even the new Superman movies, but like the old Superman movies with Christopher Reeves, when he went into that crystal place where he would talk to his father and like all the knowledge was.
Yes.
All that place was just nothing but crystals. I don't know if it was crystals or it was like frozen water, but it's the same concept. When it's like frozen, it's crystallized, or even in its natural state, it holds energy, or like stuff like that.
That's a pretty nice thing. Just that I know my vision.
Okay. Sorry. I guess I'm going to have to close this down and get her ready for bed.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Get her some popcorn made.
Oh, popcorn and a chill. That's over.
Yeah.
It's a done data.
I really enjoyed the conversation. Appreciate you coming up.
Oh, I appreciate it. Ain't no problem.
Good. All right, everybody.
I hope y'all have a good evening.
Yeah.
What's today? Oh, it's Tuesday already here. Well, have a blessed Tuesday.
Oh, it is that late. Goodness. I was thinking it was 10:17.
Oh, I'm in the future.
Yeah.
Looks pretty dark right now, but could see a little sunshine on the horizon.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. Well, y'all have a good night. Thank you for being here. Enjoyed y'all's chats. And we'll talk to you next time. Well, okay. Good night, what? I have one more song to play as we're going out, though. Just gotta know me. Let me get it ready. Which one is it? No. Yep, that one. Here we go.
Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. Tried to be chill, but chill so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. And now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool down run out, I'll be giving it my best. And nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. This cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind, see like me. Open up your plans and then you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find a love, love, love. You listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. It's just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, love, love, love. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. This cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Ooh. I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer, but my breath fogged up the glass. So I drew in your face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, and I won't hesitate no more. No more, this cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Ooh, ooh. I'm yours.
All right. Leave y'all on a good, lovey note. Love y'all. Thank you for being here. God bless you and have a good night.